Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. And today we're going to go into the dream realm of one of our enemies. This is part 2 of the War of the River Kings questline.
I'll make my own legend.
So it begins.
This is my path.
Our sister. Hail to our queen. Stop calling me that. In the darkest hours and the brightest days, you simply called me sister. I need no other title. Your songs and laughter accompanied me in my happiest moments. I would rather not shift them to honorifics. The time of my triumph is nigh, sisters. I want to share it with you as I have always shared my secrets, my sorrows, and my joys. Even after I become an eldest, I shall not abandon you. My realm will be the kingdom of spring, love, and life, and you will all be most welcome there. Be happy, sister. Be victorious, sister.
Wow, we're inside her dream. Maybe we should try talking to her. She may not quite be the real Nyrissa, but that's kind of the point. In her dreams, she can let out the things she would never say in the real world.
Be careful, Nyrissa. You have always been the bravest of us, and none deserve to be an eldest more than you. But these ambitions may come with a steep price. Perhaps I have always been the bravest, Devindra, but you have always been the grumpiest. We are blessed with eternal life, but we keep living out each day, abiding by rules we had no hand in creating. My plan is daring, you say? Well then, so be it. I simply pray we do not end up paying a price we cannot bear. Can you hear them? 1,000 voices. I can hear them. They call to me. But not the way I wanted, no. I should have been a queen. Instead, I reduced kingdoms to dust. And did you not help me with that? Why are you not yet among the fallen?
And that was our first fight.
I tire of
Finish me, scum! I will not bow my head!
Can the self-proclaimed queen not fight off a mere animal of the kennel? I come not to kill you. A trial awaits you, trespasser. I shall simply make sure you get there without getting lost along the way.
Oh, I can't transform here.
I cannot lose! I cannot lose! Finish me! I cannot lose!
I was sent by the eldest.
Get scared. Learn.
Listen to me, trespasser. You sought a kingdom. I seek something simpler. Apology.
Guilty. Cursed.
As you sought to steal a kingdom for yourself, so must you do again. 1,000 times over. For a theft, a true theft, must be practiced to be earned. It will be a lengthy task. This is how it shall be measured.
I'll remember. Do it.
Make ruins of kingdoms. When each is dust, the grains shall gather in this vessel. When 1,000 grains are gathered, bring it before us as an offering, so that an eldest may sit from it.
Ashes. Dust. Eternity.
When that is done, your trespass shall be forgiven.
Where will I find so many nations? It is...
An impossible task? How? Let your unrequited love guide you. Guided you to your first kingdom, so it shall again.
Onwards.
Seek it, hunt for it, lust for it. Let the emptiness inside you become your deadliest weapon. It is not an impossible task. After all, what use is an apology that cannot ever be given?
Given. March on. Get ready.
Right.
Get scared.
Listen to me, trespasser. You sought a kingdom. I seek something simpler.
So many
Apology.
to judge me. For someone who cannot comprehend the burden of the curse, you assume far too much. Burn!
Can you make an epic pose?
Pressed too quickly. I didn't mean to go into that, but I'll just stick with it.
You deserved it.
We can do it!
Any last wishes?
Adventures await.
My
too. The powers of those who've hidden the Briar exceed our own in many ways.
Why search for that which has ruined me? He said, let your unrequited love guide you to the doomed kingdoms. No, I will not search any longer, but I must find it. Come now, start searching. It must be here in the Stolen Lands.
I'm by your
Thousand.
side.
I told them to stop. Searching. No, I told them to search. For what? It is pointless. Why do I need this? Do you see now? Do you see? They ripped my heart out and threw it into your world. And something else was torn out with it. Do you enjoy watching my...
Strike with all your might!
Can't shapeshift in here.
This is where I step in.
I stand ready.
This way.
My Skylark, your song is sad today. What happened? Once young deer have barely grown antlers. They face their fathers in fierce combat. The time has come. You are
No
a
stopping
stag
now.
not some defenseless fawn. Go. Go and fight. You were born for glory, my wolf cub. There is room in this world for all sorts
It
of different
is done.
birds. Some sing sweetly, while others screech proudly. But the peacock displays bright feathers to outshine them all. Be my peacock. Shine. You will become a king whose glory shall overshadow all within the river kingdoms.
So it seems the boss we're fighting now,
Stops along with yours.
well, the ruler we're fighting now, Ivory, the guy, leader of Pixis,
What happened?
was also influenced by
Young deer have barely grown their
Asara to build his kingdom.
their fathers in fierce combat. Have you ever seen
As was Tristan and Stag Lord.
You are a stag now, not
And then there's
some
us.
defenseless fawn. Go and fight. You were born for glory, my wolf cub. There is room in this world for all sorts of different birds. Trapped. Some sing sweetly, while others screech proudly. But the peacock displays bright feathers to outshine. I was there with you from the very first steps you made into the Stolen Lands. I've created a nice cage of magical fog around you. Sent you my Skylark, helped you kill my stag, guided you through dreams and visions. And I pitted my wolf and my peacock against you. Does it not please you, my hound? I gave you so much prey to chase. But what I have done matters little when compared to why I have done it. I have already lost track of so much time. For so many centuries I sought out those like you. The ambitious and bold. Those who believe they can change the world, or at least rule it. I seek them.
I shall end this suffering.
make my own legend.
And so they walked on.
We cannot be defeated! Forward!
You deserved it.
We should move. No stopping now.
One more grain. And another grain.
I wrote it like I saw it.
One more grain. More grain. And another. And another. Grain. This one took 100 years to obtain. And that one was just a week. The first bears the blood of 3 generations burned in war. The second, just 2 well-chosen words. And 1 little betrayal. This will never end. Never! Do you see this cup? It has a name, you know. The Apology. Within it is the Stag Lord and his crazy dream to become a king and take me as his queen. And Armag and his never-born barbarian empire. Who will fall in next? Pitax and its peacock king? Or you? What is this, a dream? Or is someone actually playing games with me? Speaking words that pierce like arrows, teasing me with the hope of salvation beyond my reach. So, this is a dream. But you have entered it from reality. Exquisite. Very reminiscent of the methods I typically use. For 1,000 years, none have come so close to me. And I assure you, none ever will again. But you... I like you more and more, my hound. Perhaps I have no need of that stupid peacock anymore. I could let you tear him apart if you wish. I know where a tool lies that will let you clip his wings. The evidence of his crimes. Something he's been hiding from his Pitaxian allies. But he could not hide it from me. Remember this name, White Rose Abbey. That is where Iravetti would usually meet with me in the past, and the place where you will find your tool against him.
Here's one reason why well, while it may seem she's setting me up, because she did earlier tell me to say she'd give me a reward only to try to kill me. This time she's not gonna do that. It's because she needs to bring down Pixie and me and she's basically helping me bring him down. And then later she's going to take me down. Type of thing. Or she might think we'll take each other out and she's just moving us along for that. Yeah, because in case... Well, basically her goal is she needs to raise 1,000 kingdoms up and then brings them down to satisfy the Lantern King. And she only needs to bring down 2 more kingdoms to do so. Pixis, which she helped bring up, and my kingdom, which she helped bring up as well. So both those kingdoms had to go for her condition, or her condition to the Lantern King to be appeased, to be fulfilled. I mean.
My brave, brave hound. We will get along nicely, I dare say.
Onwards. This is my path. March on.
So that's why she's aiding me. She needs to do this in order to fulfill her condition to the Lantern King, who's an Eldest, which is basically a demigod. She was beaten by this demigod when she tried to create her own kingdom, and is now doing what she's doing to us as penance. For trying to defy him.
I'm by your side.
And she succeeded at taking down 998 kingdoms. 2 more to go. Which again is the kingdom of Pixis, which we're fighting now, and my kingdom. And we're currently fighting each other.
I tire of waiting.
So the reason we're fighting Pixis is more than just the whim of its king doing this, because Narissa is setting all these events forward for us.
It is done.
Heck, even if we both decided not to fight each other, she'd probably find another way to take us down.
Even now.
Because she needs both of us to fail for her apology to be fulfilled. And that's one of the reasons why she just decided to kill us once we became the Baron of these lands. During that whole ambush show a while back after we beat the Stag Lord.
Follow me.
And there we have it. Basically, every major enemy we fought, well, nearly every major enemy. Because I don't think the Cyclops guy we fought, Mordecai, is connected to this, connected to Narissa that much. She, besides the fact that that she needed something from him, but nearly all the enemies he fought, the Barbarian Lord Agra, whatever that's his name, Stag Lord, the person we had to defeat to establish our own kingdom in the first place. And of course the guy we're Pixis Kingdom we're fighting now, were all built up by Narissa, all with the intent of them being destroyed so she can fulfill her apology to the Lantern King. That being said, I don't know if it. So there was, of course, the troll wilderness where the trolls and the kobolds are trying to make their own kingdom. I'm surprised they didn't make her a part of that. They don't outright state she's a part of it, like they did with some of the other guys, but so. Yeah. Well, probably should have been. The troll kingdom. It was like one of the first problems we had. Like, as soon as we established our barony, trolls and kobolds began attacking, and we learned later that they were establishing a kingdom, and we had to shut it down because they were messing with ours. I mean, I don't recall anywhere in the story where it said that this was orchestrated by Narissa, but I could be wrong, and maybe it was, and I just missed that part. I mean, the Troll King and our rival, who was turned into a kobold, it was one of the rulers on the kobold side of this kingdom. He was basically the gnome rival who tried to frame us, and back over here in Restov, when we were trying to figure out who would lead the group to take out the Stag Lord and become the Baron. Basically, after the events of the Sword Lord Palace were concluded, we were basically sent in two groups. Not long after, though. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. We were sent to two groups, and whoever defeated the Stag Lord, either my rival, was that gnome. I don't really remember his name. Or me, whoever took out the Stag Lord, would be the one to claim the kingdom. And but not long after that, it was revealed that he was a traitor, and he had no intention of defeating the Stag Lord. Instead, he was looking for something. Come to think of it, he may have been under Narissa's influence. I'll have to look into that. Because he was looking for something in the old sycamore under the tree. And yes, he was a spy from Pixis, which means the king of Pixis had something to do with him being over there, but he was only sent to spy and had nothing to do with trying to kill us. There's nothing in the story that would say otherwise, so I'm just summing up the story, but thought I'd share the lore with you guys. Yeah, just to sum up, most if not everything that we've encountered up till now was Narissa's doing. She's trying to destroy our kingdom to appease the the Lantern King. And we're basically fighting for survival. And the bald hilltop curse that occurs every at intervals, where you have to go and defeat the monsters and stuff that come out of here, that's also connected to her. It's also her attempts to try to destroy our kingdom. Nope, wrong one. Okay, go to Glenshire. What am I doing?
Anything is possible.
Esmo, Axe, yes. Esmo, Axe, yes. Esmo, Axe, yes.
Actually, going back to the troll and the kobolds, if Narissa wasn't involved in that, I'd be very surprised. Because that's been her whole thing, building up kingdoms and then destroying them. So it makes sense for her to try to get these two to come together. And then have them either destroy us or we destroy them. And Mordecai, well, he mentioned that he was basically the Cyclops, that they had an empire in this area long ago. But their empire ended up being destroyed. And I'm very certain, though I'm not sure if they outright stated in the game, like 90% certain, that Narissa had something to do with bringing that Cyclops empire down as well. The thing is, she needed something from that empire. And she had Tristan, who was basically manipulated into serving her. take it. That's why
I'll make my
if you
own
don't,
way.
he doesn't join you, he's actually insistent that he joins you. For when you go to confront the Cyclops King. Because he needs to get the eye he has. And if I remember correctly, the reason she wants that eye is because it'll help her locate something that was taken from her after she was defeated.
Together we are unstoppable.
Something bothering you?
Should be fighting stuff in here, so I might as well get the buffs set up.
This way.
Yeah, we'll be fighting stuff in here.
And so they walked on. Anything else?
Oh, we're fighting were animals. I just realized that I left my anti-wear thing on one of my other my companions I don't have, so...
To victory!
Actually, I've noticed something interesting. Pixis, in addition to employing bards, also has a lot of were creatures in their army. I actually don't remember if there's any explanation to this or not. Like, I imagine were creatures, because they can turn into rats or wolves and stuff, have a stigma applied to them, and Pixis may have seen the use of them as... well, seen them as a good military asset, and probably brought them on for that. Because otherwise, they'd have to go out in the wilderness, try to survive there. Because humans, elves, or other non-were creatures wouldn't want them near in their community. I believe one of the major problems with that would be is they're not technically druids like I am. They could probably lose control when they turn, because if I recall, were creatures become that way because they're infected with the disease. Yeah, there's probably a description here. Oh. They can be born naturally, and it's a curse, not a disease in this area. Yeah, if you want background information in some of the enemies you fight, this game gives it to you along with other information if you inspect them. Like you have their stats right there, their skills, their HP, their armor class, damage reduction. That you can use that to figure out how to best fight them. You can figure out weapons they have, the damage output they do. Get a whole bunch of neat stuff. You get to know their feats. Yeah. So basically, they can be cursed. Well, or they can be born naturally. Yeah, I think the reason Pixis has them around and why we're fighting them now is probably because they're seen as an asset, especially since they have immunity to not immunity but resistance to most normal conventional weapons that militaries would have, and really can only be hurt through silver. So that's definitely an asset for them. Yeah, but these guys don't really have a long description. They're just generic soldiers. There's also were-rats here. I think these guys are more roguelike. Oh, I think I'm starting to get it now. It says were-rats often find work in a thieves guild, and Pixis is famous for that, as we learned. I'm guessing the were-tigers. They probably recruited were-tigers along with them too, maybe as bodyguards or something. Just strong frontline fighters, because rogues aren't really known for that. Yeah, this one's a level 10 fighter. These guys are rogues. Yeah, that seems to be how this is going. Actually, I have a new theory. Pixis's king probably used the thieves guild, to help gain power. And these creatures often find employment in thieves guilds. Again, I'm just making speculation because they don't tell you why there's so many were creatures in the army, or if they did, I forgot the reason. But we'll be playing the game again, and we'll probably get the explanation later on. Again. Though I don't really remember there being an explanation when I first played this. Then again, this is only my second playthrough, so I may have missed information. You guys are also lower than our level. The Pixis Wardens are only like level 9. The Were Tigers are 10, and these guys are only level 12. Speaking of which, after I clear this fight, I'm gonna have to check my difficulty.
Any last wishes?
Actually, I don't believe I am playing this game on the hardest difficulty, and the reason for that is Dungeons and Dragons is very luck-based, meaning you could be RNG screwed quite a bit in this game, or just get bad rolls. And I think all the difficulty spikes do is just give the enemy better stats, and more likely to hurt you, and you're probably less likely to hurt them. Also, some enemies in this game are very cheap. For that, they can paralyze you for several turns and there's nothing you can do about it. Heck, some don't even have to cast spells. The Wild Hunt assholes are the best example. I actually just fought some of them earlier today, and all I have to do is be in your presence and they can stun you. And their archers just do a shit ton of damage. Heck, just fighting I had to fight one of them while doing the depths, and so powerful I had to wait until I got stronger. One enemy alone. It's ridiculous. That's why if you're going to play this game, when you get to the point where you're starting to fight Wild Hunt, which will be, you'll fight them more commonly after this, like soon after this story mission, you're going to want to carry freedom of movement spells, because that's the best way to counter that. If you don't, you're going to have a hard time fighting. And freedom of movement spell is really good for countering Wild Hunt enemies. Oh, I think it's mandatory. That, and even playing on the lower difficulties, the enemies are still quite a threat. I mean, I do play on I don't play on the easiest difficulty, but not the hardest. Also, if I was to play on the unfair, which is the hardest, I'd be unable to respec, and I'd be unable to cure myself of ability damage unless I had the spell for it. Because you don't get the option to restore your HP damage when you rest. And you can't respec. And I want the option to respec, so I just did custom difficulty. Hang on. I'll show you after the fight my difficulty settings. Trust me, even on you're not playing on the hardest difficulty, this game's no joke. It rivals Divinity 2, Original Sin in difficulty. And that game was pretty brutal. Actually, speaking of enemies in the depths, there's actually one enemy called Wicked Channeler that can actually stun lock me, and there's nothing I can really do about it. As there's no buffs you can put up to counteract it. So we can basically stun lock you for several turns, And then just have him and the whole bunch of monsters that accompany him just whittle you down.
This is where I step in.
Those monsters hit hard. I've actually failed several attempts at him. Easily one of the harder enemies to fight in that dungeon, and in the whole game for that matter. I actually fought him again when I was doing the roguelike mode. And struggled so hard against him that I thought I did something to trigger him. So I actually restarted so I wouldn't trigger him, but that didn't work. I had to get past him. Thankfully I did. I had to nerf some of the difficulty a little bit so I could get things running in my favor, but I recall the fight being very hard even with the nerfs, so hell, there's one boss in this game, which is the final boss of the dungeon, the Depths dungeon beneath the Stolen Land quest. He was hard. I haven't even beaten him yet. He's freaking brutal. He's even harder than the final boss of this game. That's a 4-stage boss fight. That fight's pretty brutal on its own right. But yeah, I can't stress this enough. Once you get past Pixis, always keep freedom of movement in some way or shape or form on you, and then use it, because you're gonna need to use it in Nurse's Palace, because you're gonna be fighting a lot of Wild Hunt enemies. Otherwise, you're gonna be stunned a lot, and you're gonna have a really hard time actually doing anything. I honestly think the ability just to constantly stun an opponent like that, without even using spells, and at a pretty good rate of success, is kind of broken. But thankfully there's a good counter for it. Unlike the Wicked Channeler, which really doesn't have a counter to his stuff. Best way I found to beat him is you just gotta... Basically I use a spell that creates a fire whirlwind and just tries to basically CC him down. And then just burst him with damage. That was how I beat him. Basically kill him before he could stun lock me. Also, it helped that I lowered the DC requirements for him. Yeah, it's right here under difficulty. I have normal difficulty. I did strengthen the damage they do, and I gave them strengthened stats, which means they now have their ability scores much more powerful than usual, and they have extra attack bonus in our armor class. Actually, screw it. Let's do insane. And somewhat tougher enemies. But if I do that, I'm going to lower the damaged party to 1. Oh, and Death's Door is another thing. I have that on because your character will die if you like actual die, and there's no way to get them back up except by using a resurrection scroll. If I didn't have Death's Door, I would be having people die like crazy, and I wouldn't have the resources to bring them back up, because early game it's real hard to get resurrection stuff. Not so much in the late game. So if your character actually ended up dying, if Death's Door is off, which it is under unfair difficulty, then they basically die. And like I said, Dungeons and Dragons is very luck based, so enemies can get lucky crits and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's why I don't play on the harder difficulties, because I could easily get screwed over by luck and forced to restart matches. Especially in the early game, I had to restart a lot. Otherwise, I just have a bunch of dead characters that I couldn't do anything about. They only give you like one res scroll at the beginning of the game, but if you're playing on unfair difficulty, you'd probably be dying a lot anyway. Hell, when I first started the roguelike, even when I had the difficulty up on strengthened and had the equivalent like challenging or hard, I was dying to the first fight a lot. And it was not fun. I died like twice before I then figured out the enemies were simply too strong at that point and decided that I had to lower the difficulty just to survive. And I could only really do the hard stuff once I was able to handle it when I had better stats. But yeah, I can actually handle insane enemies. Somewhat tougher, but I don't want to deal with not having Death's Door on. Because that's basically it gives, what Death's Door does is if your character dies, which means going below a certain hit point, not necessarily reaching 0 hit points, but reaching a certain amount of negative HP, like once you reach 0, then damage starts adding up and going into the negatives. Once you reach a certain threshold, your character is dead. I mean, you could read it on the side there. And considering how luck-based this game is, I wanted to keep the Death's Door open. Because it's an extra safety net. This game's pretty hard, even if you're not doing the hardest difficulty. Which is why I didn't really care too much about having it at the hardest difficulty. I like challenge, don't get me wrong. I played games like Dark Souls, and I played Greedfall on the hardest difficulty. I even beat Divinity 2 on the hardest difficulty, but not this game on the hardest difficulty, which will tell you how hard this game actually is. But Divinity isn't really luck that 100% based on luck. I mean, there's crits. Beyond that, it's pretty predictable how the damage goes.
The path is clear.
And it's not as luck-based as this game is.
Applause, please.
I mean, it is a bit luck-based, but not to the extent that this one is.
Anything else?
I'm listening.
Actually, I had one person who was on watching one of my streams one time say that buffs are mandatory at the higher difficulties, as you're gonna have a hard time fighting the enemy with your base stats. So that's one thing I'll give this game credit for. It delivered on the challenge, and you don't even need to up the difficulty just to get that challenge. I think on unfair difficulty you don't get to respec, and I always wanted the option in case I messed up, especially since I was fairly new. Especially my first run when I was fairly new. Well, I still am. I'm a lot less new, but I don't know every ability like the back of my hand on this game. Because there's a lot of spells and stuff you can use. It's actually quite overwhelming. In order to get really good, you're going to have to spend a lot of time just learning what all the spells and stuff do. Maybe even certain mechanics like the meta magic.
Let us bide our time.
I think you have to do a certain something to get meta magic to work.
Shall not fail.
One of the best ones in my opinion is the Quicken one, which basically allows you to use multiple spells in one turn.
And then our leader charged forwards. Hey, wait for me.
Especially good for like an offensive character. You just use multiple fireballs or chain lightnings and stuff. Of course, there's a penalty. Like you'll have to use, like if you want to use use it without certain items. Like I'm using the rod, which allows me to use it 3 times a day for spells level 6 or below. But if you get the feat meta magic, like get Quicken, you can get Reach, you can get Maximize, you can get Extend, which is good for buffers. One person said he liked using that for unfair runs. Yeah, but the penalty is you'll be using up spell slots that are much higher than the original spell. Or alternately, you could just do what I'm doing here and use the rod, Quicken Rod, to use it for free without expending those slots. That's the benefit of Quicken, which is why it's one of my favorite. It allows you to cast multiple spells in one turn. Extend is also good because it means your buffs last longer. I use buffs quite a bit in this game. I bet this person likes using Bard because Bard has a lot of buff spells. Bards and Clerics are probably the best ones for buffs. I mean, Druid has a bunch of buffs too, but a lot of them are self buffs. Like my buffs only really benefit me. Well, me and my pet, which is this monitor lizard. Another reason why I like going as the water elemental is they have reflect damage. So meaning if they hit me, they get a portion of water damage to them. And I can also combo that with spells like the Thorn Body. Hell, even if I really want to, I could also get Cave of Bees, I think that's what the spell is called. So if they hit me, they take a lot of damage in return. There's also Vampire Shield. That one's really good. I use that on my Magnus. Not this one. The one I played in my last run playthrough. Called Vampiric Shadow Shield. There's also the Shield of Dawn, which deals fire damage back to anybody that hits you. And they do combo together, so those spells are really good to have. Oh shit. See what I'm talking about? Well, I did up the difficulty to insane, so the enemies are a lot more powerful now. Well, slightly more powerful. No, the buffs, those extra buffs do make a good difference. Here, since I set that up, Pixis, yeah. They used to have 22 in my old setting. Now they're buffed up to 26. So that means they do 2 points more damage per attack and have a greater chance to hit you. They also have a bit more durability now and are a bit harder to hit. Now they have 40 armor class. So they're a bit more tanky. But I'm still beating them. Another issue with having monsters cramped areas like this, they can't really participate because they can't reach enemies. And even when I wasn't playing on insane difficulty, which is my last file, I was still losing people, so I feel like the game's tough enough even without being at the hardest difficulty.
I require healing.
And look at this. Even if I wasn't on strengthened, if it was just, I mean, if it wasn't on insane and on strengthened, that still would have hurt quite a bit. Which kind of reminds me, I should probably get some defense set up on him. Get him healed too. Yeah, that's one of the, when I got to this part of the game, that's one of the things that the Pixis soldiers like to do, especially the archers. They just hard targeted your sorcerers and clerics and stuff. They're easier to kill guys instead of going after melee guy, which had better armor class. In many cases, the way they were positioning made it really hard for me to actually do something about it. That's a good that's actually a good tactic for him. Especially since archers would probably be the best people in the best position to actually go after sorcerers. Due to them not being blocked by my melee characters. Yeah, that's why I like the reflex. Let's see. he was low on health, and while he did damage to me, I hit him even harder.
Onward!
So the retaliation abilities like that are actually really good. There we go. All that's left is that gardener character. Been pretty hard. Oops. Trying to see about avoiding that. And thankfully, nothing came of it. Put up a good challenge. I actually took out one of my guys, or girls in this instance, so they did pretty good. But this fight's just about over because I didn't see the shield.
You forced my hand.
Alright. Do the honors, my... Oh, guess not.
Stay behind me!
Guess not either. Well, this guy's being really stubborn. Screw it.
A simple request.
Confide in me.
Yeah, they did a number on me. Aldrivis almost died. As did my other tank, so... Extra difficulty is definitely legit.
Something bothering you? Share your troubles. There are other ways to cast this spell.
Also, you can use the Greater Restoration spell to get rid of the Death's Door status infliction.
Head on. Share my path.
I've done your request.
Indriva. We actually saw her in the dream. And now we're seeing her in the flesh. Yep, I mentioned this before. And she's destroyed 998 kingdoms. Oh, I see what that meant. I'm thought that meant something else. She speaks again, it's not with her voice but another. I assume that was for saying that next time you hear her speak, she'll speak with another voice, but no, she's saying that Indriva is basically being, well, possessed, for lack of a better word, and Nerissa's now speaking through her.
Count on me.
can count on me.
Nothing bars my way.
I feel tired.
A rest is in order.
Alright, I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
betrays me.
And here comes the arrogant, I'm better than you, and we're doing you a favor part of this speech. Because that just seems how Pixis thinks about us. Their attitude is, we're better than you, and we deserve to have authority over your lands, and yeah. That's an understatement. And the bandits and monsters are the ones that you're bringing against us.
It is done.
All right. Let's go. It's finally time to go to Pixis and take down the king, Pixin King. Actually, I'm gonna rest first and get rid of that Death's Door status infliction.
No stopping now. make my own legend. Onwards. We should move. This is my path.
Kind of seeing if this wand will be of use. I do need to sell some of this extra stuff. crap, I forgot to wanna head back. This may delay things a bit, but I need to get this. We're going to be fighting a whole bunch of these enemies in the capital, so well, I guess. There we go. I bought that crossbow for the specific purpose of fighting enemies in here. And I'm not gonna have my money go to waste by not using it, so here, let crop be bane. You remember we were fighting a whole bunch of the were enemies? Actually, come to think about it, before I go to that abbey, I should have actually had this, but you were able to clear the place anyway. But it basically does two more hits of damage against them, and deals an extra 2d6, which is 2 to 12 points more damage per hit against were enemies. So the question remains, should I have Lindsay use this weapon, or should I have Tristan? The way I have Lindsay built is that sometimes she goes out and fray and uses a rapier, but she can also use bow and arrow. Well, range weapons. Whereas Tristan is pretty much a range only guy. Kind of want to do. I'm leaning toward having Tristan use it because he's always at range, whereas I might have Lindsay not be ranged at times. So there. There's going to be a lot of fights in Pixis.
Remain vigilant.
You're correct. It is going to be hard for you guys. That's not going to happen.
I'm by your side.
Alright, now I'll just let everyone know what's going to happen here. Prior to confronting the king, Ivoriti, I believe his name is. Ivoriti, that's what I'll go with it. I have the opportunity to get the Pixis citizens and guards and stuff on my side. But you only get like one chance. You actually have to talk to a certain person and say the right thing. And if you say the right thing, you will get them on your side. If you fail to, they will not side with you.
To you, I can't say no.
And when I first came here, I messed up and didn't realize, like, with the capital, there's other areas you can go to, and I missed some stuff. I believe it is over here, this area. I'm not going to go too further because I might trigger it. We have to go to confront the king. So we're going to be talking to people, trying to convince them to turn against the king. Because if you manage to turn them to your side, you integrate the kingdom in, it'll be less damaging. Because if you have to fight these people, there's a negative consequence to your kingdom. If I remember reading correctly on the guides. Like, you'll probably take some point deductions when you bring them in. If you convert them over, you can actually get I think you might get bonuses. Either that or the bonuses aren't as good if you fail to bring certain people to your side. I think
It is done.
Right. Applause, please.
We should move.
Applause,
I'll make my
please.
own legend. Follow me.
Anything else?
This is my path. Check that out. I stand ready.
It shall be done.
Applause, please.
I tire of waiting. Adventures await.
Share my path.
What's that?
Don't fall behind.
No stopping now.
Yeah, it says here. Ivory stands in front of his palace waiting for me. Could face him, but he's got but our king has plenty of enemies. It's basically warning us if we try to confront him as soon as we get here, we're going to be fighting a whole bunch of people. So
We should move.
Let us be careful.
we got to try to turn the people against Ivory. To do that, we have to say the right things. We already said the first right thing, which was letting the families, the trade families, know that their people that they thought were being held hostage are dead. It kind of looks like we'll have one person we'll have to fight, and that's the guy we first talked to. That's implying that even if you were to surrender to him, you would still be killed. So there really is no surrender. There we go. We got two groups on our side, the city guard and trade families.
You can rely on me.
Nothing bars my way.
Keep formation.
This is one thing I didn't know.
No greatest.
I didn't know you could travel through the city like this.
The path is clear.
It's like alternately you could use diplomacy or persuade them.
A simple request.
Oh, there's also the conclusion of a side quest here as well.
Head on.
But if you know what to say, you won't need to rely on the diplomacy stuff. And the DC for it's pretty high, so there's a good chance I might fail it. I actually did fail to say the right things the first time I came here. So I had to reload. That's why I'm saving. Because you only get one chance, and if you fail, you don't get another. Which doesn't make any sense if this was real life, because I don't see why you couldn't just say something else. But the game won't let you do that. One shot, and you better not fail.
What's over there?
Well, that's another way of doing it. But you have to be lawful. My last playthrough, I think she got killed by someone else I persuaded to join. Because I couldn't do... Because if I didn't mention before, I couldn't do what I just did now because I was playing a chaotic character, not a lawful one. So your alignments do matter in this game.
this way.
try to make this swift.
Let us strike as one!
We can do it! Die for me!
Forwards!
I won't give up!
Expect that to happen.
This is my path.
Remain vigilant.
Well, that was kind of unfortunate. I got a death's doors thing, status affliction, before I even run to the king.
I'll make my
Thankfully, I can get rid of it.
Listening. I stand.
Now, if I was playing on an unfair difficulty and didn't have the death's door thing marked, I would have had to restart that.
As you order.
I tire of waiting. We should move.
Place to go, and that's the port. I don't believe I remember I actually probably did. But that side quest was basically, we were told the pirates were attacking Pixis, and we decided to help them since the king and his subjects clearly weren't doing their job. But we were tricked. Set up. We attacked one of the trade peoples instead of pirates. Tried to convince them that we were set up, but we failed checks and we were forced to take them out. I did succeed in talking them away from the fight, but my last... in order for me to rerun that, I'd basically have to redo the fight. I basically had to redo the fight several turns over again. Then hope I got lucky with everything and I didn't feel like doing that, so I just accepted my failure there.
And
Or the bad RNG.
Believe I found something.
Light my way.
Oh, I'm not given the option to talk to him. I need to talk to someone from the Thieves Guild down here. That's why I came down here after all.
I'll make my own legend. March on. I tire of waiting.
Right.
Share my path. How may I help?
Well, that's another misfortunate situation we're in.
We should
Count
move.
on me.
Applause, please.
I stand ready. To you, I can't see though.
Share your troubles.
Actually failed that the first time I came to that area. Remember this.
This is my path. Don't fall behind.
For some reason, still can't find that Thieves Guild guy. Is that person I talked to supposed to be him? So that kind of sucks that
I'm by your side.
I wasn't even given the chance to.
Something bothering you?
Talk to him and convince him to join us, so.
I'll make my own
It
legend.
shall be done. head on.
A simple request.
Damn, all the way this far?
Adventures await.
I'll forget this quest.
Path is clear.
You can count on me.
I got some extra experience from that.
We should move.
Sadly, it doesn't look like I'll be able to... I don't know. There's probably experience under that. I should probably restart. But honestly, I don't feel like doing that now.
I stand
So
ready.
they walked on.
Because I failed the persuasion check and... feel like starting a fight right in there.
Share my path.
Doesn't look like I'm able to convert him at all.
Remain
Just not
vigilant.
interested in talking at all.
This is my path.
Tread lightly.
Which is weird, because I
It is done.
don't know if I did something that alienated them to the point where I can't get them on my side, but... well... searched all over the area. Didn't appear any persons of interest.
Right.
Adventures. No stopping now.
I'm listening.
Don't hesitate.
I'll make my own legend.
Light my way. Right here, my friend.
Any fun to be had?
Wash fun.
Well, hello, King. I'm glad to see that despite your utter failure as a ruler, you did listen to the voice of reason and made the only right decision. Give me your crown and swear allegiance to me. I promise I shall rule your lands wisely and mercifully. Citizens of Free Pitax, our city is in danger. The enemy is at the gate. To arms! For our freedom! For your king!
Time for fun.
Kind of wondering the reason I didn't get the Thieves Guild on our side is because we're lawful and we were automatically locked out of it. Because I was able to get the bandits to work with me, but then again, they are the Thieves Guild, and I did get control last time. I just I basically got rid of them. I intend to do that this time, so it makes sense that they'd oppose me here.
For me.
And I am a lawful ruler, and I'm not going to allow criminals to do what they want here, so... Every good reason to oppose me.
Aim carefully.
You know this guy here, my last run? Yeah, what was his name? First guy to talk, Stivikana Monokari? Whatever that... My first run, He actually died in a random encounter. This one I managed to save him.
So, Taya. So it's come to this.
You deserved it.
T. Go. Attack.
Basically, if we fail to persuade the guys to join us, we'd basically be fighting this huge crowd right now. Instead of them fighting for us.
Do not falter.
Repent!
And you probably noticed that I was given the option to surrender. I'm kind of wanting to go over that again,
Any last
in a sense. Just to see what would happen. First we'll go clear this fight. Again, I could probably just let them do the work for me.
A solid plan.
And that's it. Fuck it, let's just make this go quicker. Ah, damn. Looks trigger went down. Guard captain went down. Guard went down. Japix's wardens went down, of course. Yeah. See, a bard went down, temple guard went down, guard went down. Of course, the bandits went down.
This way.
May have died in the battle, but she just automatically went up.
I'm by your side.
Let us be careful.
Over here.
You can rely on me.
No, it's going to be the opposite. Guess they don't come out at this point. Well, basically have him cornered. He's retreated into his palace. And now we have to go in there, fight all the enemies in there, which there's quite a few of. Take them out, and that'll be the end. We're going to do that another time. So we're already at the 3-hour mark. I wanted to end at this spot right here after we confronted the king. Because I'm not sure if this will take 1 or 2 more parts to finish, because there is a lot of stuff to do in here. A lot of enemies to fight, a lot of treasures to get. Actually, I should point out. Still get the same rapier. Deadly Grace. Yeah. I actually got this much earlier in the game because, like I said before, this person I got this from actually died in the random encounter. This one I managed to keep him alive, so. I used this in the early game. Yeah, it probably was because it was a really good one-handed item. I used it on my main character for a while. I'm going to call the stream here. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. Actually, hang on. I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to hard save this. May need to sell some stuff because I'm getting encumbered. I might even go back and convince that guy to step down, or maybe not. Kind of do because that's experience. I might get some good amount of experience from that. If you want to get to level 20, you really need to milk the experience from this game. It's like Divinity 2. You have to do everything just to get to the end game level, or else you'll fall behind.
Keep formation.
And unfortunately, I failed the persuasion check, so unless I wanted to start a fight, which I could do, let's see. And my last quick save was over here. God damn it.